He stole the crown with blood and betrayal, ruled with cruelty, and silenced every voice of hope. But what happens when a people decide they've had enough? This is the true tale of how a wicked king rose to power only to be brought down by the very people he tried to destroy. In the ancient kingdom of Aloma, peace once reigned. The markets were full, the farms were rich, and the people thrived under fair leadership. But then came a shadow, a man named Ezeudo, whose hunger for power would bring darkness over the land. He wasn't chosen by the people. He forced his way in with bribes, swords, and bloodshed. And from that moment, the kingdom would never be the same again. The tale of the wicked king and the people's struggle for freedom. In the heart of the great kingdom of Aloma, there once reigned a wicked king, King Ezeudo, whose path to the throne was filled with deceit, manipulation, and violence. The people of Aloma had rejected him from the beginning, knowing that his heart was full of greed and cruelty. But Ezeudo, determined to seize power, forced his way into kingship, using soldiers to silence those who opposed him and bribing the powerful elders to gain their approval. With the crown on his head, he ruled not with compassion, but with a heavy hand. The people suffered. From the first day of his reign, King Ezeudo showed his true colors. He imposed heavy taxes on the people, increasing the price of food, livestock, and daily necessities. The poor could no longer afford to feed their children, and even the rich found themselves becoming poorer, borrowing by the day. Farmlands were seized by the king's men and redistributed to his loyal followers, leaving hardworking farmers with nothing. The once thriving markets and communities of Aloma became empty, traders fleeing to neighboring lands in search of a better life. The people groaned. He built himself grand palaces and threw lavish feasts, using the people's hard-earned wealth to feed his gluttonous desires. He surrounded himself with soldiers and sycophants, growing even more ruthless as he isolated himself from the suffering of his people. Efforts by the kings of other lands and other people from other lands and good elders to persuade him to show mercy and change his ways fell on deaf ears. The king's heart had turned to stone. In a desperate attempt to reclaim their land and their lives, the people of Aloma tried time and time again to confront the king. They organized protests, held meetings in secret, and even sent delegations to beg him for mercy and to talk to him. But each time they approached him, King Ezeudo responded with more punishment. The people groaned under the weight of his rule. The elders, once respected for their wisdom, were reduced to mere puppets, following Ezeudo's orders out of fear for their lives. Day by day, the kingdom slipped deeper into poverty, and soon the laughter that once echoed through the streets of Aloma was replaced by silence and despair. As the suffering intensified, the people of Aloma began to flee. Families packed their belongings and set out for neighboring kingdoms, hoping to find greener pastures where they could live in peace. Mothers wept as they left their ancestral homes. Fathers clenched their fists from frustrations. Children cried out of fear for the unknown future. The once vibrant community of Aloma was slowly emptying, with homes abandoned and fields left untended. Those who remained cursed the name of King Ezeudo with every breath. May his reign bring him no peace, they muttered. May the gods punish him for the suffering he has caused the people. But no matter how many left or how loudly they cursed, the wicked king only tightened his grip on the kingdom. He built himself grand palaces with lavish parties, using the people's hard-earned wealth to feed his gluttonous desires and his followers. He surrounded himself with soldiers and sycophants, growing even more out of fear for the unknown future. The once vibrant community of Aloma was slowly emptying, with homes abandoned and fields left untended. Those who remained cursed the name of King Ezeudo with every breath. May his reign bring him no peace, they muttered. May the gods punish him for the suffering he has caused the people. But no matter how many left or how loudly they cursed, the wicked king only tightened his grip and on the kingdom. And it felt as though darkness had settled over the land for good. But there was one man, loved by everybody. He was a strong man. He loved the people and he loved the community so much that he was ready to do anything to change the situation of the community and the kingdom. A symbol of resilience for the people. To them, he was their hidden king. Obinna never stopped speaking out against the king. Even when it meant risking his life, he would go to the marketplaces, gather at the hospitals, go to churches, go to many places, go where there are floods and disasters. He would be there, gather with the people, telling them a new dawn will come. Don't give up. We must regain our place in the society. Our kingdom will be great for us and for our children and for the future of Aloma. His words inspired the people. His mere presence alone gave them joy, and slowly they began to rally behind him, placing their faith in his vision of a better kingdom. As the people's support for Obinna grew, so did the pressure on the king, Ezeudo. Rumors of rebellion began to spread throughout the land, and even those who had once stood by the king began to turn against him. One night, during a fierce storm, a group of elders and soldiers loyal to the people stormed the palace. They had had enough of the wicked king's cruelty. Ezeudo, realizing that his time had come, attempted to flee, but there was nowhere for him to go to. The people captured him and brought him before Obinna and the elders. For the first time in years, the king felt alone. His power dropped. The kingdom felt a sense of relief. The reign of terror was over. With Ezeudo deposed, the people crowned Obinna as their rightful king. His coronation was a day of great celebration with feasts, music, dancing and happiness that lasted for days. The land of Aloma was filled with joy once more. Under Obinna's rule, the kingdom began to thrive again. Farmlands were returned to the people. Taxes were reduced. Taxes were reduced and trade resumed in the markets. Prosperity returned to Aloma, and the once poor kingdom blossomed into one of the wealthiest and happiest lands in the region. Those who had fled returned home, bringing with them new skills and resources to help rebuild the community. The rich who had once feared for their wealth now grew even more prosperous under Obinna's just rules and wise decisions. King Obinna was loved by all, not just for his handsome looks, but for his compassion, humility, and love for the people. His wife was a darling. Everybody loved her. She was so humble and so caring for the people of the community. She helped traders and women and made sure they lacked nothing as far as governance was concerned. King Obinna built schools and hospitals and temples, ensuring that the future generations of Aloma would never forget the power of good leadership and the importance of fighting for justice. In the end, Aloma became a shining example of what a kingdom could achieve when ruled by a king who loved his people and honored God. King Obinna's reign was long and prosperous, and the people never forgot how he stood by them, even in the darkest times. And as for King Ezeudo, he was exiled, never to return to the land he once ruled with cruelty. His name was erased from the history books, a mere whisper in the wind, while Obinna's legacy lived on for generations as the king who restored peace, joy, and prosperity to the land. Here are some moral lessons from the story. The story of Aloma teaches us that no matter how powerful evil may seem, yes, no matter how powerful evil may seem, it can never silence the voice of a united people. True leadership is not taken by force. It is earned through love, compassion, and sacrifice. Obinna's courage reminds us that one person standing for what is right can spark a change and bring hope to an entire situation. If you were inspired by this story, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel at African-Tale, African Folk Tales with a Baby. Drop a comment below and tell us what part of the story touched you the most. Your support helps us bring more powerful African stories to life. Thank you once again for subscribing to my channel. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe so you get our stories as they drop hot. Thank you. Remain blessed. And so, until next time, keep believing, keep fighting for what is right, and never forget that the people always have power.